I landed in Japan this morning and went straight to Shibuya to a secret cafe run by an ex-Nintendo employee called 84 Hashi. The cafe is full of rare and retro video game merchandise, and the walls are covered with original artwork by legendary Japanese video game creators. We ate some curry, drank some beers, and I gave the owner a new plushie for his collection. Then I went to Shibuya's Parko Mall to expand my own collection. We hit the Nintendo store for some Pikmin gacha, the Pokemon store, Jump Shop, and Torch. The mall also had a Sylvanian family's pop-up store. I bought 2 tickets to the raffle, which you entered by turning a Ferris wheel, and I won a car and some moles. I bought the first of many gacha, and went across the road to Magnet, where the Hello Kitty store was selling a keyring of Pom Pom Purin's butthole, and the Mugiwara store was selling merchandise from the One Piece collaboration with Milky Chocolate. I found their new ice cream at a konbini, and this came with a sticker too. We visited Pepperpon in Akihabara for some eco-friendly gacha. Pepperpon invited me to their office to check out some of their new designs. This one was cool, but this gigantic dispenser was easily my favorite. We assembled a crew and went to Stand By Me in Shinbashi for dinner. This izakaya served us heaps of amazing dishes, but my favorite were these deviled eggs topped with a hot dog octopus. We walked past an Evangelion pachinko parlor, so obviously we went inside, and this place was hectic. I didn't play any of the machines, but I love their designs. These giant plastic rays were everywhere, and they also had Loop on the Third machines, One Punch Man, Urusei Yatsura, City Hunter, Kaiji, and even Gegege no Kitaro. We ended our night at a bar called Juice, played some darts, had a nightcap, and stumbled home. 27,000 steps today, light work. Tomorrow we're going to the Snoopy Museum in Yokohama, so I'll see you then. Guess what time it is? Snoopy Museum time. This magical museum has a room full of Snoopy merch, a huge exhibition with a wall dedicated to every single Peanuts character. You can take a photo with the most Snoopies you've ever seen, and a photo with the biggest Snoopy you've ever seen. The highlight of the museum has got to be the animation that was projected on the walls and floors of this room. It goes for about 2 minutes all up, and I must have watched it about 5 times. There's a new exhibition at the museum that's all about all the times the Peanuts gang went traveling around the world. You can visit Snoopy's house and the gift shop, and I tried to behave myself, but the merch was just too good. Next to the Snoopy Museum is the Peanuts Cafe. I ordered Spike's Mexican tacos and had gacha for dessert. Then I voted for Hungyadon and got the train to Yokohama. We had a beautiful stroll to the Cup Noodle Museum, and this place is truly bizarre. Some of the exhibitions made no sense, but you get to make your own cup noodles. First you buy a cup, then you color it in. I drew a bootleg Hungyadon and his friends Sayuri and Itaro. My friend Angus made his cup Evangelion themed. Then you put the noodles in, choose your base and toppings, they seal the lid, and voila, bootleg Hungyadon noodles. Another gift shop, another gift bag full of stuff I definitely don't need, like these incredible post-it notes that transform into a noodle cup. We left the museum to get some actual ramen, and man, this Ieke style ramen from Yoshi Muraya was insane. One of the best bowls I've ever eaten, and we followed that up with an Evangelion cake that we found in a vending machine. My cake had an angel on the front and was melon flavored. I bought a Japan exclusive Nintendo Switch game, then stumbled across a Suragaya store, and instantly lost an hour of my life fumbling through baskets full of random character goods, plus shelves full of plushes and action figures. I also found a Miffy store, Chikawa Land, Sumiko Garashi, a Pokemon store, and a Moomin shop casual edition. I got the train back to Tokyo, checked out the cherry blossoms at Nakameguro, and ended the night eating grilled things on sticks at Kushi Wakamaru. I ate about 18 sticks and walked about 18 kilometers. I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Today I went monster hunting in Chofu, which is a beautiful part of Tokyo that I never see on TikTok. This was the hometown of Shigeru Mizuki, who was best known as the creator of Kitaro. Last year I took my kids to Kitaro Park, and today I'm at Kitaro Chaya, which is a cafe dedicated to Kitaro and Mizuki's many other yokai characters. I ordered a matcha and the spookiest soft serve I've ever seen. Even the spoon was a ghost. The gift shop was a goldmine for Kitaro fans, so you know I got that bag. Chofu is also famous for soba noodles, and we got lunch at a spot called Shimizu. The noodles here are excellent, but I've also got to shout out the best tempura prawns I've ever had in my life. And this Fijoa beer was also amazing. After lunch, we hit the manga section at Kinokuniya. Can you guess which one of these books I bought? Then we went shopping at Nakano Broadway, which is this insane labyrinth of retro toy shops. There's a lot of secondhand stores here, but my favorites were 1UP, Robot, and Action Figures Go Rock. We spent an hour looking at shelves and shelves of awesome toys.
Then we stumbled upon a City Hunter City Pop pop-up store. I did not buy Ryo's gun, but I did buy this cute tiny record. In the basement at Nakano Broadway, there's this place that does 8 different flavors of soft serve ice cream. I got a small, which was enormous, especially for my second ice cream of the day. The shopathon continued at Tokyo Station's Character Street, which is home to dozens of shops selling character goods. You would seriously have trouble finding a popular Japanese character who wasn't featured here in some way. I was most excited for the Mofu-san and Sanrio characters pop-up store. Look how cute these guys are. We were absolutely wrecked after another massive day, so we came home via a katsu place near our hotel in Ibisu. And even though this was just some random place in a food court, the food was next level good, and I slept very happily after another 20-something thousand steps day. The hardest decision that you have to make when you're in Japan is choosing which bento box you're gonna get for your train trip. Do I want the self-heating one? Do I want one shaped like a bullet train? Do I want the Kuromi one? The loop on the third one? Or the one who looks like a butt? I ended up choosing a big box of raw tuna on rice with ikura, and we traveled from Tokyo to Nagoya. Our hotel is called Nikko Style, and it's really nice. They even sell cremier ice cream in the lobby. The main reason we came to Nagoya was to check out the Hideaki Anno exhibition. Anno is best known as the creator of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and this exhibition covered his entire career, from his student films to working for Studio Ghibli, a whole lot of Evangelion, and then the last 2 decades of his movie work, including Shin Godzilla, Kamen Rider, and the 4 Rebuild movies. The exhibition was very thorough, and you better believe the merch shop was too. They had something from every single project that Anno had worked on, and I left with a very heavy bag. It was a beautiful day in this fine city, so after tracking down some regional specific Sanrio gacha pins, we walked for an hour to an amazing sounding ramen place, but the wait for ramen was like 3 hours, so Fami Chiki saved the day again, and we headed to the Port of Nagoya Public Aquarium. As soon as you walk in, you're welcomed by dolphins and orcas and beluga whales, and upstairs there's like a full stadium to watch the dolphin show. We had to sit in the splash zone, and the show was insane. There were like 20 dolphins performing for us. The whole thing was set to chugging guitar music, and there was even a replay screen. We also saw sardines, giant crabs, stingrays, penguins, holograms. I couldn't find the octopus though. Wait, there he is. After the aquarium, I went to buy some matcha for my wife because it's our anniversary today and both of us forgot. Then it was time for a little me time. It's only slightly embarrassing how at peace my body is while I'm shopping for character goods, but hey, that's the dad way. For dinner, we went to the fish market, which by night becomes a barbecue and beer garden. We found a great looking yakiniku spot called Okay. We spent the next 2 hours grilling meat and stinking up our clothes real good. Then we walked home, recorded a podcast, and called it a night. By the way, you can buy your tickets for the aquarium and tons of other Japanese attractions using the Klook app. You can even buy Shinkansen tickets on Klook, and it's way easier and cheaper than getting a JR Rail Pass. Plus, you can use the code Levins Online Klook to get 10% off your first Klook purchase. Today I went to Ghibli Park. We managed to get that elusive 9 a.m. entry ticket and went straight inside the Grand Warehouse and lined up for 5 minutes so we could get our photo taken with No Face, Porco Rosso, Ponyo, Shita, Dola, Caproni, and a few lesser known Ghibli characters. Then we sat down in the beautiful Cinema Orion and watched a Ghibli short called Mr. Doe and the Egg Princess. We spent more than 4 hours in the Grand Warehouse all up. We saw Yubaba's office and Miyazaki's Oscar. For breakfast we had a bottle of local milk and the delicious sweet bean cake from The Wind Rises. We took a walk down Minami Machi, visiting the Neppu bookstore, Open Sky Models, and Penny Candy's Shop Cat Princess. I found a gacha machine that only sold Ghibli cats, and meow, I got the yokai cat from Pompoko. Then we got hit with a shrink ray, visited Arietti's house and found her sugar cube, but instead of eating it, we went to the Transcontinental Flight Cafe, where I got a slice of pizza topped with pork katsu and miso, plus a locally brewed beer from the Valley of Witches. Lunch gave me the energy I needed to take on the Ghibli's Grand Warehouse shop, and I know I say this in every video, but the merch here was crazy. I'll make a video about everything I bought, but believe me when I say this bag was heaving. We escaped outside, but we'd only scratched the surface of Ghibli Park. We still had to visit the Hill of Youth, home to the World Emporium from Whisper of the Heart, and the Cat Bureau from The Cat Returns. We walked past the Cat Castle Playground on our way to Mononoke Village. We met Lord Okoto and the Demon Spirit. Then we visited the Tatara Bar to try our hand at cooking gohei mochi over coals. This was such a thoughtful, calming, and delicious experience that I kind of imagine ever happening in any other theme park in the world. We walked through this mouth into the Valley of the Witches. This new area was enormous, and we visited the House of Witches from Earwig and the Witch, Hal's Castle and Hatter's Millinery, Kiki's family home and her bakery, where we bought ourselves some afternoon tea, then spent even more money in yet another mind-blowing gift shop. Then we walked and walked and walked and walked to Dondoko Forest, where we visited Satsuki and Mei's house, then followed the acorns up the hill to meet Totoro himself. By now it was 5 p.m, we'd spent 8 whole hours at Ghibli Park, and after riding the cat bus back to our hotel, I realized that Angus had never felt the joy of visiting a Suragaya store. So we spent the next hour rifling through shelves and bins full of secondhand games and anime toys. Then suddenly it was gyoza o'clock, so we ended our day in a brightly lit dumpling restaurant and walked all the way home. I had the craziest day ever in Osaka, and it started with Katsu Sando's on the Shinkansen, checking into our hotel at Universal Studios Japan, stocking up on some essentials and heading out to Shinsekai. This town is the birthplace of one of my favorite Japanese foods, kushikatsu. Yaikatsu has been selling deep fried skewers since 1949. You can't film inside the restaurant, but you can drink 6 liters of beer. After lunch, we found a pop gun shooting gallery that was good enough for Bruno Mars, so it was good enough for us too. Shinsekai is like a carnival party town, so when I saw a Hangyeodon mask for sale, I bought it instantly. I spent the whole day wearing it on the side of my head like this, except for when I put a helmet on, because you see that tower over there? You can climb to the top and then slide all the way back down. That was fun, and so was the official Pringles store next door, where I found Pringles Gotcha, very nice. Then we found a Lupin the Third arcade shooting game from 2001, and the accidentally stumbling upon things based on manga that I love didn't stop there, because around the corner we found a bar selling slam dunk sake, and remember that tower we slid down? This place was selling a mini version of the tower topped with tiny cakes, and here's a tip for Japan: a Hangyeodon mask and a tower of cakes will make you very popular, and we squandered our popularity almost instantly by doing an hour and a half of drunk karaoke. These poor women tolerated us for way too long. I would have kicked us out of the country, let alone the bar. Where are you? And I'm so sorry. Honestly, we should have called it a night then and there, but then we thought, what if we got a train to the official Nintendo store instead? And that's when the biggest surprise of the day happened, because next to the Nintendo, One Piece, and Pokemon stores was a Berserk pop-up store. And if you're a Berserk fan like me, you know how hard it is to come across official merch, and yet here were shelves upon shelves of official art and toys and statues and t-shirts and bags. I'll show off my bag of Berserk merch in the future, but we ended our night in Dotonbori, where Spider-Man was busking with a live band. Then we visited this guy for some of this and this and this, and picked up one of my favorite desserts in the entire world, a hot, fresh melon pan filled with green tea ice cream from a place called Melon Bread. Then we said goodnight to Spidey and headed home. By the way, we bought our Shinkansen tickets and our tickets for the Tsutenkaku Tower Slide using the Klook app. You can use the code LEVINSONLINEKLOOK for 10% off your first Klook purchase. I'm back at Universal Studios Japan. We stayed at the Parkfront Hotel so we could get to the park nice and early at 7 a.m. and the gates opened at 8 a.m. We power walked straight to Super Nintendo World, through the Green Pipe, through Peach's Castle, and here we are in the Mushroom Kingdom. I highly recommend getting here early because it means you can walk straight onto Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. Later in the day, you'll have to wait over 90 minutes. So even if your team doesn't beat Bowser, you've still won. Also, if your team doesn't win, you can just buy a trophy from the gift shop. There was also no line for Yoshi's Adventure, which gives you a beautiful view of the park. You can even see the top of the Donkey Kong roller coaster, which sadly isn't open yet, but they are selling a lot of Donkey Kong merch already, including this awesome Donkey Kong Country bag. There was a line for Canopio's Cafe, so we got a Koopa shell instead, which was full of noodles. Then we headed to Jurassic Park for the flying dinosaur and a Coke, and around the corner we stumbled across Kuromi and My Melody doing a live show with a band. I had no idea that this show was at Universal at the moment, and I celebrated by getting a sick new t-shirt. it. We watched the Detective Conan 4D live show, which was terrific. I had an express pass ticket for Mario Kart, so I got to beat Bowser twice in one day. Then we watched the Waterworld live show, which I've never seen before, but it was kind of the highlight of my day. It was so camp and silly, and the special effects were genuinely good. I popped into Wizarding World for a Forbidden Journey and a meat pie. It was really sunny, so I bought the best hat ever made. Then I took an L real quick, ate a Tanjiro chorito, and sat down for the My Hero Academia 4D movie, which my friend Angus said was like watching 4 people play Super Smash Brothers. There was a 3-hour long line for the Demon Slayer VR roller coaster. Luckily I had an express pass, so I only had to line up for 20 minutes, and I can't believe how good this ride is. It's an actual roller coaster, except you're wearing a VR headset, so it looks and sounds like you're on the Mugen train. It's worth getting an express pass just so you can go on this ride. I was going to get a curry from Rengoku-san's restaurant at the park, but instead we left the park, went to the city, and hit up a restaurant called New Light that I saw recommended on Japan Eat. They served us easily the best Japanese curry I've ever had in my life. I'm so glad we came here. It may have been the best meal of my entire trip, and I knew this place was going to be good when I saw the Bun B poster out the front. UGK for life! After one last walk through Dotonbori, we headed back to Universal City Walk. There is a takoyaki museum here with 6 different takoyaki vendors. So here is my second dinner for the night. A really gnarly looking storm was about to hit Osaka, so we went back to our hotel. Just kidding, we went to Lawson to stock up on snacks for the last day of my Japan trip tomorrow. By the way, I bought my tickets to Universal Studios Japan and my express pass using the Klook app. This is definitely the easiest way to go through all the different ticket options for the park to decide which one is best for you. Just make sure you use the code Levins Online Klook to get 10% off your first Klook purchase. On my last day in Japan, I finally crossed something off my bucket list and visited the Osamu Tezuka Museum in Takarazuka. Tezuka is known as the god of manga, and the town he grew up in is beautiful, filled equally with monuments dedicated to local theater icons and references to Tezuka's most beloved work. The Tezuka Museum is magnificent, with a phoenix statue out the front, plus a bunch of other familiar faces. You'll even find the handprints, footprints, and nose prints of some of Tezuka's most famous characters, and inside you'll find Princess Knight and this incredible mosaic of Tezuka's face on the floor. Each of these retro-futuristic pods tell a different part of Tezuka's history, and upstairs is a new exhibition all about the series that Tezuka spent most of his life working on, Hin no Tori, aka Phoenix. I only finished reading Phoenix earlier this year, and I got quite emotional looking at Tezuka's original pages, but not as emotional as I got in the gift shop. Stay tuned for my Tezuka haul video. Unfortunately, I didn't get any blackjack toilet paper, but I did get an Astro Boy gacha. There's also a library, a coloring in jungle, an old school computer setup, a guide to finding bugs in the area, and a whole floor dedicated to animation, where you can learn to animate your own drawings, while Tezuka himself animates his drawings up above you. After the museum, which you should definitely visit if you're also a fan of classic anime and manga, we played Ichiban Kuji, ate pork and prawn katsu, got a train, got some last minute things that I absolutely didn't need, said a tearful goodbye to my friends, and boarded a limousine bus to the airport, which was way quicker than I was expecting, and I arrived 4 hours before my flight. If this ever happens to you, there are gacha machines on level 1 and a food court on level 2 that includes a French bakery that sells cremia ice cream. After checking into my flight, I contemplated spending 40,000 yen on a new Disney mech, then made the tough decision between onigiri burger or beef ramen. I think I made the right choice. Then it was time for one last beer and one last gacha, and I flew all the way home. In 8 days, I visited 2 theme parks, 3 museums, 2 Nintendo stores, 2 suragayas, 1 exhibition, 1 aquarium, 1 pachinko parlor, and no less than 10 gift shops. I ate 2 bowls of ramen, 2 curries, 2 katsus, 16 takoyaki, 3 soft serves, 4 serves of famichiki, 1 bottle of milk, 15 ginkgo nuts, and 1 melon pan filled with green tea ice cream. I rode 2 Shinkansens, went down 1 tower slide, recorded 4 podcasts, and voted in the Sanrio character ranking 5 times. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the 2 suitcases full of merchandise that I'll be making videos about for the next year.